Hello aspirants, welcome to your daily UPSC Current Affairs Revision Series by Insights IAS. In today's session, we'll cover the Fields Medal 2026, the E0 FIR system, hepatitis, RBI's Rs 10 and 20 Polymer notes, and the Andromeda Galaxy, and in mapping we'll explore Ghana. So without any further delay, let's get started. Let's begin with something genuinely prestigious from the world of mathematics, the Fields Medal 2026. Here's the context. The 2026 Fields Medal, mathematics' highest honor, was awarded to Yu Deng, John Pardon, Jacob Zimmerman, and Hong Wang at the International Congress of Mathematicians. Now, here's a genuinely historic detail worth holding on to right away. Hong Wang made history as only the third woman in the medal's 90-year history to receive this honor, while she and Yu Deng became the first Chinese nationals awarded since 1982. That's exactly the kind of first and only detail UPSC loves testing. So, what exactly is the Fields Medal? Often referred to as the Nobel Prize of Mathematics, it's the most prestigious global award recognizing outstanding mathematical achievement, both for existing research and the promise of future accomplishment. It's awarded by the International Mathematical Union, IMU, every 4 years, during the International Congress of Mathematicians. It was established in 1936 from a trust fund set up by Canadian mathematician John Charles Fields at the University of Toronto. Now, let's go through the key features of this award. There's a strict age cap. Candidates must be younger than 40 years old on January 1st of the award year, celebrating early career breakthroughs and future potential. Unlike many lifetime achievement awards, it has quadrennial frequency, conferred once every 4 years to a selected cohort of 2 to 4 mathematicians. There's also global diversity balance. The IMU Executive Committee selects an anonymous Fields Medal committee, mandated to represent a broad diversity of mathematical subfields. And it's funded through endowment and support, specifically the J.C. Fields Trust at the University of Toronto, supplemented by institutional partners and the Fields Institute. Now, let's briefly understand what each 2026 laureate actually achieved, because these contributions are genuinely fascinating, even if the mathematics itself is complex. Yu Deng from the University of Chicago solved a critical part of Hilbert's sixth problem by establishing strong theoretical bridges between physical fluid dynamics, specifically kinetic wave theory, and particle physics mechanics. John Pardon from the Simons Center and Stony Brook University resolved the 20-year-old MNOP conjecture in symplectic geometry by counting curves on complex Calabi-Yau three-folds, developing the fundamental tool of virtual foundation cycles. Hong Wang from NYU's Courant Institute solved the decades-old 3D Kakeya conjecture alongside Joshua Zal, connecting harmonic analysis and geometric measure theory to determine the minimal rotational space for multidimensional sets. And Jacob Zimmerman from the University of Toronto pioneered the application of O-minimality, a concept from mathematical logic to algebraic geometry and number theory, proving Griffith's conjecture and doing early work on the André-Oort conjecture. So, to quickly recap for your exam, the Fields Medal 2026 went to Yu Deng, John Pardon, Jacob Zimmerman, and Hong Wang, awarded by the IMU, established in 1936 by John Charles Fields. Remember, Hong Wang became only the third woman ever to win it, and that she and Yu Deng are the first Chinese nationals to win since 1982, and that candidates must be under 40 on January 1st of the award year. Now, let's move to a genuinely practical cybersecurity development, the E0 FIR system. The context is that the Union Minister of State for Home Affairs informed Parliament that this system for cybercrime cases has been operationalized across 18 states and union territories, with over 12,000 E0 FIRs already registered. So, what exactly is this system? It's a digital, borderless law enforcement framework designed to automatically generate a first information report, called an E0 FIR, for reported cyber financial crimes, regardless of territorial police jurisdiction. Now, think about that for a second. No more running from one police station to another arguing about whose jurisdiction your online fraud complaint falls under. It was developed by the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Centre (I4C) under the Ministry of Home Affairs. On legal alignment, it leverages Section 173, Subsection 1 of the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, 2023, which mandates that information on cognizable offences can be submitted electronically, irrespective of location. It integrates three primary digital infrastructures: the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal (NCRP) and Helpline 1930, State and UT e-crime police stations, and the National Crime Records Bureau's Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and Systems. Its aim is genuinely urgent to accelerate law enforcement action against cybercriminals, eliminate jurisdictional delays in filing complaints, enable instant freezing of defrauded funds, and facilitate the swift restoration of lost money to victims. Because in cyber fraud, every minute genuinely counts. Now, coming to the key features of this system. There are automated threshold triggers, complaints lodged via the 1930 helpline or NCRP portal that cross-specified financial loss thresholds automatically generate an E0 FIR without requiring an initial physical station visit. There's seamless jurisdictional transfer. Registered E0 FIRs at central e-crime police stations are instantly routed to the exact territorial cybercrime police station holding local jurisdiction. There's also a 3-day conversion window. Complainants are required to visit the local territorial police station within 3 days to complete formal verification and convert the E0 FIR into a regular, fully registered FIR. Hold that 3-day figure firmly. It's genuinely testable. And there's immediate financial lien placement. By generating an official EFIR instantly, law enforcement and banking channels gain the immediate legal authority required to place a lien on suspect bank accounts and block the onward transfer of stolen funds. That's exactly the speed advantage that can make the difference between recovering your money and losing it forever. On significance, the E0 FIR system removes jurisdictional delays, allowing cyber fraud complaints to be registered immediately from any location. An instant FIR registration through the 1930 helpline enables faster freezing of fraudulent accounts, genuinely increasing the chances of recovering stolen funds. So, to quickly recap for your exam, the E0 FIR system, developed by I4C under the Ministry of Home Affairs, is now live across 18 states and UTs, with over 12,000 FIRs registered so far. Remember, it relies on Section 173, Subsection 1 of the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, and complainants must visit their local police station within 3 days to convert it into a regular FIR. Now let's move to a genuinely important public health topic: hepatitis. The context is that India has accelerated interventions under the National Viral Hepatitis Control Programme to eliminate viral hepatitis as a public health threat by 2030. So, what exactly is hepatitis? It's an inflammation of the liver tissue. And while it's commonly caused by viral infections, it's worth remembering that non-infectious factors such as heavy alcohol consumption, toxic substances, certain medications, and autoimmune diseases can also trigger the condition, so viral causes aren't the only story here. On its origin and etymology, the word is derived from the Greek words hepar, meaning liver, and itis, meaning inflammation, a genuinely simple word origin for a genuinely serious disease. Viral hepatitis itself originates from 5 distinct viral strains, classified as types A, B, C, D, and E. Now, here's a genuinely important classification to hold on to for prelims. The enteric strains A and E are transmitted via the fecal-oral route through contaminated food and water, while the parenteral strains B, C, and D are transmitted through contact with infected bodily fluids, blood transfusions, contaminated needles, or vertically from mother to child at birth. Notice that split. 2 spread through what you eat and drink, 3 spread through blood and bodily fluids. Now, let's go through the symptoms. Many viral hepatitis infections actually remain asymptomatic or mild during early stages, which is genuinely part of what makes this disease so dangerous. When symptoms do appear, acute symptoms typically include jaundice. That's the yellowing of the skin and eyes, dark urine, fatigue, fever, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. On severe complications, pregnant women infected with hepatitis E face a heightened risk of acute liver failure, a genuinely important vulnerability to remember. And on chronic complications, persistent infection with hepatitis B, C, or D causes chronic liver disease, leading to cirrhosis, irreversible liver scarring, hepatocellular carcinoma, liver cancer, and eventual liver failure. Now, coming to the key features of hepatitis more broadly, and this is genuinely dense, so let's slow down. There are 5 distinct strains, A, B, C, D, and E, caused by 5 distinct viruses with different modes of transmission, illness severity, and preventive options. And here's a genuinely sobering statistic. Hepatitis represents major infectious disease killers. Types B and C account for the vast majority of chronic infections, driving over 1.3 million deaths globally each year due to cirrhosis and liver cancer. There's also the satellite nature of hepatitis D, HDV, and this is genuinely fascinating. HDV is a defective virus that cannot replicate independently. It only infects individuals already carrying hepatitis B, HBV. This superinfection accelerates liver damage and cancer progression. Essentially, hepatitis D can only hitch a ride on hepatitis B. It can't exist on its own. On vaccine prevention versus direct-acting antivirals, safe vaccines exist for HAV, HBV, and HEV. And while no vaccine currently exists for hepatitis C, HCV, modern direct-acting antiviral DAA medications cure over 95% of chronic HCV cases. That's a genuinely remarkable cure rate, even without a vaccine. And finally, there's a high burden of unaware carriers. An estimated 304 million people globally live with chronic HPV or HCV, yet most remain undiagnosed due to the silent, asymptomatic nature of early liver damage. That's exactly why routine screening and awareness matter so much. So, to quickly recap for your exam, hepatitis has 5 viral strains, A through E, with A and E spreading via the fecal-oral route, and B, C, and D through blood and bodily fluids. Remember, hepatitis D can only infect people already carrying hepatitis B, that types B and C cause over 1.3 million deaths annually, and that DAA drugs cure over 95% of chronic hepatitis C cases despite no vaccine existing for it. Now let's move to a genuinely interesting economic and environmental innovation, RBI's Rs 10 and 20 polymer notes. The context is that the Union government approved the RBI's proposal to conduct field trials for polymer or plastic banknotes in Rs 10 and 20 denominations. So what exactly is this initiative? It's an official pilot initiative by the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, and its subsidiary, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, to introduce opacified polymer substrate currency into public circulation alongside our existing cotton paper notes. The regulatory authority is the RBI itself, and the currency manufacturing subsidiary is Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Its aim is genuinely practical, to extend the lifespan of lower denomination banknotes that wear out quickly due to frequent handling, thereby reducing long-term currency printing costs, curbing environmental waste, and improving overall currency durability. Think about how quickly a Rs 10 note gets crumpled and torn compared to a Rs 500 note. That's exactly the problem this initiative targets. Now, let's go through the key features of this initiative. On target denominations and volume, it focuses on small value notes, Rs 10 and Rs 20, with an initial field trial batch consisting of 1 billion pieces per denomination. That's a genuinely massive trial run. On the non-fibrous polymer substrate, unlike traditional Indian paper notes made from 100% cotton comber and linter fibers, polymer notes are printed on a non-porous, dirt and moisture-resistant synthetic plastic film. Now pause here, because the durability comparison is genuinely striking. Their significantly extended lifespan, polymer notes last between 2 to 6 times longer than conventional cotton paper notes, drastically reducing the frequency of replacement, transportation, and destruction of soiled currency. There's also a co-circulation framework. Polymer notes will circulate in parallel with existing paper notes, and the government has explicitly clarified that there is no proposal to replace existing paper currency entirely. So don't worry, your paper notes aren't disappearing. On environmental and recycling benefits, this is genuinely worth remembering. According to studies highlighted by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, polymer banknotes reduce global warming potential by 32% and primary energy demand by 30% compared to paper notes, and they can be recycled into plastic pellets at the end of their life cycle. And on the legal authority behind all this, under Section 22 of the RBI Act 1934, the RBI holds the exclusive legal monopoly to issue currency notes across India. Now here's a genuinely classic exam trap. While Rs 1 notes are issued directly by the Ministry of Finance, Rs 10 and 20 notes are issued strictly under the authority of the RBI's issue department. Don't mix up who issues what. Now, let's briefly look at global adoption of polymer notes elsewhere. Australia pioneered polymer banknotes back in 1988, and today, nearly 60 countries utilize plastic currency in some capacity. On countries with full series transition, meaning their entire currency series has moved to polymer, these include Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Romania, and the United Kingdom. So, to quickly recap for your exam, RBI's polymer note trial covers Rs 10 and 20 denominations with 1 billion pieces per denomination, and polymer notes will circulate alongside, not replace, paper notes. Remember, polymer notes last 2 to 6 times longer, reduce global warming potential by 32% per IMF studies, and that Rs 1 notes come from the Ministry of Finance, while Rs 10 and 20 notes are issued by RBI's issue department under Section 22 of the RBI Act 1934. Now, let's move to a genuinely awe-inspiring astronomy topic, the Andromeda Galaxy. The context is that astronomers analyzing data from the Hubble Space Telescope mapped the last 500 million years of star formation in the Andromeda Galaxy, revealing that its star formation rate is dropping sharply, particularly over the last 40 million years. So, what exactly is the Andromeda Galaxy? Also designated Messier 31 or M31, it's a massive barred spiral galaxy. It's the nearest major spiral neighbor to our own galaxy, the Milky Way, and the largest member of the local group of galaxies. On its location and distance, it's located in the constellation Andromeda, situated approximately 2.5 million light-years away from Earth. And here's a lovely detail. It's actually visible to the naked eye, under dark skies, as a faint, elongated smudge. You don't even need a telescope to glimpse it, just a genuinely dark sky. Now, let's go through its key features. It has an enormous physical scale, spanning a diameter of over 220,000 light-years, roughly 2 to 2.5 times the width of the Milky Way, and containing an estimated 1 trillion stars. A genuinely staggering number. It's also showing signs of a transition to cosmic middle age. New star birth is steadily slowing down across its concentric ring structures, marking its transition from an active, star-forming galaxy toward a quiescent or dormant state. Now pause here, because this next detail is genuinely fascinating. A disruptive interaction with M32. Gravitational interactions and collision passes by its satellite galaxy, M32, have punched through Andromeda's stellar disk, disrupting dust clouds and creating a dead zone devoid of recent star birth. Imagine a smaller companion galaxy literally punching a hole through a much larger one. There are also distinct concentric ring structures, hosting prominent ring-like dust structures at radii of 26,000 and 33,000 light-years, where its remaining gas and star-forming activity are concentrated. And here's the genuinely dramatic long-term forecast: a future Milky Way collision course. Gravitationally bound to the Milky Way, Andromeda is moving toward us at approximately 110 kilometers per second. The two galaxies have a high probability of colliding and merging into a giant elliptical galaxy, sometimes nicknamed Milkdromeda, in about 4 to 10 billion years. Now that's genuinely far enough in the future that none of us need to worry about it, but it's a remarkable cosmic event nonetheless. On significance, as the nearest large spiral galaxy, Andromeda helps scientists study how galaxies form, evolve, and eventually slow their star formation. And its declining star formation rate helps refine models used to estimate the age and evolution of distant galaxies across the universe. So, to quickly recap for your exam, the Andromeda Galaxy, or M31, sits 2.5 million light-years away, spans over 220,000 light-years, and contains an estimated 1 trillion stars. Remember, its satellite galaxy M32 has disrupted its star formation, and that Andromeda is on a collision course with the Milky Way, expected to merge in 4 to 10 billion years. Finally, let's turn to today's mapping topic, and this one connects African geography to a genuinely serious diplomatic issue: Ghana. The context is that Ghana has launched an official register to document properties and businesses lost by its citizens during anti-foreigner violence in South Africa, becoming the second African country, after Nigeria, to seek legal and diplomatic compensation from Pretoria. So, what exactly is Ghana? Officially the Republic of Ghana, it's a sovereign country located along the Gulf of Guinea in West Africa. And here's a genuinely proud historical fact worth remembering. Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African nation to gain independence from European colonial rule in 1957. Under Pan-African leader Kwame Nkrumah, it serves as a major economic, cultural, and democratic hub in the region. On its geographic location and bordering nations, it sits in coastal West Africa, along the Atlantic Ocean's Gulf of Guinea, and its capital is Accra, the country's major commercial and political center. On bordering nations, to its north and northwest lies Burkina Faso, to its east lies Togo, to its west lies Côte d'Ivoire, and to its south lies the Atlantic Ocean, specifically the Gulf of Guinea. Now, let's go through its key features. There's the massive Voltaian Basin and Lake Volta, dominating the central and northern interior. It holds Lake Volta, one of the world's largest artificial lakes, covering approximately 8,500 square kilometers, impounded by the Akosombo Hydroelectric Dam. There are also the Aquapim Togo mountain ranges, a prominent narrow chain of folded Precambrian mountain ridges stretching along the eastern border with Togo. And this range contains Ghana's highest point, Mount Afadjato, at 2,903 feet or 885 meters. There's a dissected Precambrian peneplain and scarps framing the Voltaian Basin, uplifted plateau scarps, most notably the Kwahu or Mampong scarp in the south and the Gambaga scarp in the north, both drained by major rivers like the Pra, Ankobra and Tano. And there's the genuinely fascinating impact crater Lake Bosumtwi, located south of Kumasi. Lake Bosumtwi is Ghana's only true natural lake, formed within an ancient meteorite impact crater. With no natural outlet to the ocean, a genuinely unique geological origin story for a lake. On significance, as the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence, in 1957, Ghana remains a key voice in the African Union and Economic Community of West African states. And as a leading exporter of cocoa and rich in gold, bauxite, manganese, and offshore petroleum, it stands as a major West African economy. So, to quickly recap for your exam, Ghana, with its capital Accra, was the first sub-Saharan African nation to gain independence in 1957 under Kwame Nkrumah, and it borders Burkina Faso, Togo, and Côte d'Ivoire. Remember Lake Volta, one of the world's largest artificial lakes, formed by the Akosombo Dam, and Lake Bosumtwi, Ghana's only natural lake, formed inside an ancient meteorite crater. And that brings us to the end of today's session. In today's session, we covered the Fields Medal 2026 from Miscellaneous, an important topic, the E0 FIR system from GS Paper 3, Science and Technology and Security, Hepatitis from GS Paper 2, Health and Governance, RBI's Rs 10 and 20 Polymer notes from GS Paper 3, Economy, the Andromeda Galaxy from GS Paper 3, Science and Technology, and Ghana under Mapping. For the complete current affairs article and today's practice MCQs, visit insightsonindia.com using the link given in the description. Also, subscribe to the Insights IAS YouTube channel and join our official Telegram group for regular UPSC related updates and learning resources. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you again in the next session.